interesting episode today. It'll all kind of tie together here. That's kind of weird.
Hey, and welcome to a Thursday Collection Connection, where we're about to throw down with another round of that game that's just an excuse to talk about records. In Eric's last video, he pulled out the big guns, Talks The Color of Spring. John from Digital Gramophone, if you're out there watching, not to give away the ending of my own top 200 albums list, but that would be number one. And there's a lot I could say, and there's a lot I have said on The Color of Spring. And it's a great, great record. I will put a link wherever it is that the links go in the little cards there to the video before I had a channel. A couple years ago, Eric mentioned that I bought him the vinyl copy that he showed for his birthday. And we talked about the record then for a video for his channel, so I will include a link to that video. My favorite record of all time. It's got my favorite album closing track of all time, and Time It's Time. And it's just a great record. And it has been my favorite record for decades. Maybe not quite since it came out, but maybe since about the time that Spirit of Eden came out. And I grew to love Spirit of Eden and the really ambient, free-form jazz post-rock thing that they had going there. But then that really made me prize the album before that had a little more solid song structures and hooks and bass lines that you could follow. And it's just good stuff. The opening track of The Color of Spring is Happiness is Easy. And that song features a children's choir. And even though there's a bunch of directions, again, I could have gone, I like kind of throwing out the things that I didn't do, but I thought about doing in these videos. If I was doing a repeating name connection, I thought that I would have gone to Man Man, their album from 2020. That was a great surprise to me, and the kind of album that I'd love to talk about and share, but I don't know of any other immediate. I don't know it well enough to make a connection that's not a surface connection like a double word band name. I also thought about an album with a song that was a date because of April 5th on The Color of Spring. And weirdly, I've been doing a project scanning old photos and old negatives. And one of the negatives that I scanned of my cat back in 1992 happened to include a little bit of my CD collection back then. And in it was The Color of Spring. And so I thought about choosing another title that was visible in that photograph. But instead, I went with the children's choir. And the first song I could think of with another children's choir on it was Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. And that is, of course, from Pink Floyd's The Wall. Now, the original issue of this album did not have any text on it. I guess it was affixed to a sticker on the shrink wrap. And the cover has changed a little bit over time. Sometimes the writing is black, sometimes the writing is red, and other times it had initially no writing on it at all. Neither here nor there. Just always a question of which which version I choose to put up in my graphic when I'm talking about the album. My experience with Pink Floyd is not deep. The only other Pink Floyd album that I have is A Momentary Lapse of Reason, which was the current album when my girlfriend at that time, who was a huge Pink Floyd fan, that was her favorite band, I tried to get on board, there were some decent things about Momentary Lapse of Reason, but she loved it. All the deep cuts down going into Ummagumma and uh, the one I want to call Mummer, but it's not metal. But she liked all of the stuff, and it just never super resonated with me. But ultimately, I did go back, and the other Pink Floyd that I knew from the time when it was current is The Wall. I remember the single, Another Brick in the Wall, was a big hit while we were in England, and they would play the video all the time, which as a, what would I be, about 7 years old? Yeah, this is a 1979 album. My grasp of metaphor wasn't necessarily the world's strongest, and so just these visuals of kids being shoved into a meat grinder is the kind of thing that really sticks with you as a kid. And so it kind of weirded me out at the time. But it did stick with me, and I've come to really like Comfortably Numb. And I like songs on the album. I like The Trial. I like Goodbye Blue Sky. There's a number of them, and it's surprisingly pretty too, the album. But the grunginess, and I don't think Ralph Steadman had anything to do with it, but it sort of has this Ralph Steadman aesthetic, the artist, being just kind of messy and grimy. That's what I always think of when I think about the movie The Wall. And my first experience of the movie of The Wall was with that girlfriend. Fun fact, little story, back in the 80s, there was a girl who went to my high school named Jennifer Graham, who made national headlines by refusing to dissect a frog on moral grounds. And they made not an ABC after school special, but the CBS equivalent of it, that's like School Break special or something. They made a TV movie of her story called Frog Girl, the Jennifer Graham story. Well, I went to that to her high school at that time, and my girlfriend was her best friend. And so the first place I ever saw The Wall, the movie, was at Jennifer Graham's house. So has nothing to do with anything. I just think it's an odd fact from my life. And so I don't even know if there's a movie version of the soundtrack. I do like I like Bob Geldof's In the Flesh, I think, better than Roger Waters' In the Flesh. I like his delivery as Pink from the movie. And so I associated the movie with it pretty strongly from first hearing the entirety of it, the weirdness of that movie. But I've come to appreciate The Wall on its own terms, I think. It's never been in heavy rotation. I could probably count on one hand the number of times that I've played the entire 2-album set in its entirety. And I don't know. So again, it's like the T-Rex the other day. I don't have anything to tell you about Pink Floyd that's going to blow you away. All I can really do is relate my experience of it to you. And so with that, that's pretty much all I have. So we got a kids choir on Happiness is Easy from Color Spring, and another kids choir on Another Brick in the Wall. So that's my connection. And Eric, I don't know if he has The Wall or not. But hey, give it a go. Set aside a couple of hours and groove on The Wall for a little bit this week. And you can catch Eric's response. He is Plastic Eric from the Plastic Soundwave Cult. His response will be on his channel on Monday. And yeah, that's what we got. Look forward to that. And hey, if you made it to the end, I thank you for watching. Bye-bye.